Who here likes to eat food? Can I get a show of hands? All right, hands down, hands down. What if I told you the food you eat that you're using to energize you throughout your day will not only do the opposite by draining your energy, but it would also be a contributing factor to every health issue you're gonna have in the next 20 years. Hi, my name is K.O. Hill, and I consider my body a temple. On that note, I've been researching how something as common as American processed food affects our bodies negatively for weeks to years at a time. I have been going through FDA regulations and CDC statements like no other, and I've concluded from my research that processed food in America is negatively affecting American health worldwide, or across our nation, I mean. The first thing I'd like to touch up upon is the fact that the US values taking our money over providing quality food to ensure we're a healthy population. Here in the US, I'm sure you all know what the FDA is. If you don't, the FDA is the Food Drug Administration, and they are deemed with the duty to make sure that all the food that we eat is, just safe and, not cancer. We're supposed to feel safe when something is FDA approved, right? Unfortunately, the FDA makes mistakes. I mean, we're only human. They've approved hormones in the US that have been banned in Europe and all across the world and aren't even sold or imported there legally whatsoever. The use of these hormones in the US is so major that they've created a word just to describe food without these hormones. Here in the US, organic means hormone-free and free of growth-promoting antibiotics. To put this definition into perspective, Healthline quotes, this would mean all European meat, every single piece of meat in Europe is technically organic by US's definition. Fast food chains are also getting caught up for not following FDA regulations and overusing these hormones. Just off the top of my head, I can name a few. So Starbucks is using carcinogens which cause cancer in their pumpkin spice latte. Taco Bell meat is only about 35% meat. Subway bread is legally more of a cupcake than it is bread due to the contents of sugar. Red Lobster doesn't use lobster. And the big finale, the Chipotle CEO lied about their food being non-GMO. And then when confronted, he stated that we should have known because they have so many chains, there's no way he could have controlled all that GMO or whatever. It's not just fast food restaurants that are the issue. Even when you're cooking at home, there are constantly labels out there trying to steal your attention with tricks. For example, did you know low fat or fat free is actually worse for you because of the fact that they're stripping out fats that are good for you and they're replacing it with sugar that also causes carcinogens, which is cancer. Grass-fed means the cow is eating grass before, or the animal's eating grass before, at least once. Cage-free means the animals are still in a cage, and free range is just a bigger cage, and that there's more animals since it's a bigger cage. All natural simply isn't a real label, and organic, when not talking about meat, is just also not a real label. So I could sneeze in a leaf, and that leaf would be considered an all natural organic vegan taco. And then when I researched the word sugar, it stated sugar is used in over 71 different ways to trick us into thinking that it is not sugar. So anything that says cane, ending in ose, syrup, or sweetener is just another way of saying sugar. I know, all these major corporations are tricking you into buying their food. And who can you safely buy food from? Well, according to PubMed, Healthline, and the National Library of Medicine, the only person you can really trust your food with is a local farmer who you actually know. And the carcinogens in the US are just everywhere, so it's kind of hard to figure that out. In other words, these government regulated websites are trying to tell you that food sold in grocery stores and restaurants is toxic when you're in America. According to Healthline, we rank #1 for ultra-processed food, and we're only one of 7 countries total who use that term in general. Something else that we use that not a lot of other countries have banned is something called red dye 40, which is just red dye used in pretty much all foods. You can put red dye 40 on an apple. Pretty much any red food that you see has red dye 40 in it. Because ketchup is supposed to be brown, if you guys didn't know that. Anyways, red dye 40 is banned for carcinogens which is cancer, and it also causes behavioral issues in children as well. Ultra-processed foods happen to fatigue instead of energize you. According to PAHO.org, the research states, these products are not designed to meet people's nutritional needs. They are engineered to have long shelf lives and create cravings, and can completely overpower someone's innate appetite control mechanisms and their rational desire to overall just stop eating. Not only do these foods drain your energy, but a lot of regular foods, so not ultra-processed foods, drain your energy as well. Casual things like baked goods, cookies, chips, cakes, fried foods, coffee, white bread have all been researched to physically drain your energy and put you to sleep. So when you wake up from your food coma, you're also going to wake up 10 pounds heavier as well. And that leads me to my final point. American food is making us all obese. Before elaborating on this point, I'd like to first define the term obese, a disorder involving excessive body fat that increases the risk of health problems. So now that we know the word obese means excessively overweight to the point where you're like dangerously, you could get diabetes, have a heart attack at any moment, we can all heed one of the oldest quotes in the world. You are what you eat. In America, and America is the #1 country for obesity. Approximately 41% of our population is actually obese, and this is due to our diet. This statistic is said to rise to 100% by 2050, simply due to our current eating habits. And according to a study by the National Library of Medicine, that means in 25 years we're all going to look like those guys on Wall-E who had the scooters, who couldn't get up or walk or stretch their arms. So in 25 years we're all going to be looking like that pretty much. It seems like everything that is sold in the US is one way or another bad for you. Whether it'll make you feel dumb, fat, or disease-filled, processed food in America is simply not to be trusted. So in conclusion, we've all been poisoned. Thank you.